Okay? Now, if we look at this bottom tube, there isn't much left to it. There is the valve still in there, and I'll have that link up. I'll put the link up again right now for how to tech that bottom valve. We don't need to do it because we've seen it before on other videos. Just wipe it down, clean that bottom tube out with a swab, again, some alcohol, and then we're going to put stuff back together. So I'll talk as I'm putting stuff back together. There isn't a lot that I do to the T2 out of the box. I polish the pump arm, the single pump arm. 1, 2, 3. I polish the single pump arm here. I polish the bolt, which doesn't need much, and that's about it. One last thing when we're putting this back together, one more thing I should say, these grip frame screws are different length. The shorter grip frame screw needs to go in back, the longer grip frame screw needs to go in front, okay? So, longer, shorter. Try to get those fairly even in depth, and it will help you when you're putting the frame back on. Screw goes back in, IVG goes in. I had 4 turns from flush. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to get me really close on velocity. Vanity cap goes in, snug it down with a 1/4 Allen key, and your money there. Next on is pump and pump rods. Get all 3 of those aligned up and put it back in. And now, this is what I was talking about before, or alluding to before, but we got to talk about it now. When you're putting the back block back on, you're going to put this back on here, and what will happen sometimes is you're going to get some binding. In fact, this has got some binding right now, not much, but a little bit. When you put this back on, the back block has to be aligned properly to these pump arms, or you're going to get binding. If you put your gun back together and go, what happened to all the cool CCM smoothness? Adjust this back block, and here's how you do that. You're going to use these Torx screws, put a drop of blue Loctite on them. I'll do that when we get done with the video so I can just kind of go through this. Because you want those to not vibrate loose when you're using them. And because a pump is pretty violently moved about when you're an auto trigger, that can happen sometimes. Just snug those down a little bit. We'll talk about it more a little bit later. Actually, I returned that smoothness, so I know I'm money with that. But if you're feeling binding at that point, make sure that you adjust that back block. Okay, next, body. The screws are still in the bottom of the body. You've got to make sure that this ball detent fits in the little spot for it there. And then what I do, which is going to be hard to show on a video, is I try to line up, get my finger stuck in there. You try to line up the body with the holes from the side. There's 3 holes that need to be lined up. Both of the grip frame holes and the ball detent hole. So that can take a little bit of getting used to, but it looks like I got it right first time. That screw's a little off. Down that access hole. And just snug these down. Remember, every screw, these Torx screws are steel. You're screwing them into aluminum. Steel, stronger than aluminum, and what you don't want to do is strip that out. So that's back together, and things seem to be pretty smooth. I'm going to put the bolt in next. If you use any lubricant, only one style of lubricant. Triflow. It's the only thing that doesn't expand Delrin, okay? Oh, actually, I need to time this first. So I'm going to get the bolt out. Let's time this. Now, in order to time it, I need to put the grip frame back on. This can be a little tricky. Make sure, just like I just did there, that this arm fits over the post on the pump arms. Slide that forward. 1/8 inch Allen keys to tighten this down. Poor Robin in the background is trying to keep business going for Pro Edge Paintball, and he's trying to be quiet for the video. I apologize. All right, now that's back on, and we can check the timing now really quickly. In order to do that, you don't need to put the bolt back in. You need to put at least the pin back in, however. That allows you to engage the hammer, okay? Now hold the trigger down, slide that forward. Not enough. You want this to fire at 1/8 inch, or I even set mine a little bit closer than that. So that wasn't enough, so I backed out the the cocking lug. There, almost perfect. If it doesn't fire all the way forward, you need to back out that screw. If it fires too soon, say in this position, you need to drop that screw a little bit more. Back and forth until you get that right, and I'll link the video that does that on the Series 6, which is a little bit more in depth. Now, we're gonna put the regulator back in. I use a regulator tester. This is an old Air America Guardian. I'll link right now to the one where I show a homemade regulator tester. I said this before, I have it in the manuals right now, that this should be set at 300 PSI and pretty much forget it. I want to amend that now, and I want to amend the manual here. Mine is set at 325 right now. I find a lot of people with a little bit variances. There seems to be some play in the T2, not a big deal. I would set it at 300 with a regulator tester, and then sweet spot it from there. What does it mean to sweet spot? Briefly, what that means is you put the gun together, you put paint in the gun, you get over a good chronograph with good fresh paint, and you shoot the gun. You get a good average going at what your setting is. You turn the regulator up a little bit, get another average. Turn it up, get another average. You want to set that regulator where it plateaus. Mine's plateauing currently at 325. If it plateaus, set it at that amount of input and go from there. Well, what I do is I set it, and then I check it with my reg tester again, noting what that's set at, and I don't need to sweet spot it ever again. I then set it at that mine, and again I set mine at 325. Okay, so the timing's good, that's good. The bolt needs to go back in. Again, trifle only on the bolt. Anything else will swell Delrin. And then we're going to put on, and I'll put on a different feed neck just for fun. I'll put on the open class feed neck. That's probably what I'm going to be playing tomorrow anyway. Ball end Allen keys really help here because you notice I'm turning that in on a slight cant. Okay? Not a manual cant. C-A-N-T. Little philosophy joke for those out there in the paintball world. All right.
Very little.
Very few. Those tend not to go hand in hand. I think I'm the only moron that mixes those. Cool. Tighten that down. Bam. Bam. That's money. Put your hopper on. I'm going to throw on the new Sport Shot. Actually, no, I'm not. It's not quite tight enough. I'm going to throw on the Allen paintball. Their new one. Throw on your barrel. And what you're going to want to do is go over the chronograph and make sure that you're good with your feet per second. I can't do that inside Pro Edge paintball here very easily, so I'm not going to. And you need a tank. Here it is. Screw that in, if you can. There we go. Pump the gun. Always got to pump the gun before you shoot a pump gun. It takes the weight of the hammer off of the valve, and it doesn't allow air pressure to shoot down the gun. Let's see if this airs up right. Sounds like it does. We're money with that. Degas, and we should be good to go. Again, this is TF from Team Pumpenstein. Check out our other videos on this link here. Also check out ProEdgePaintball.com and also support your local stores. If they've got pump in there, you need to be supporting them, all right? See you later.
We have to nuke them. We have to nuke them now.
Now, let me know when I'll come to something that interests you.
God, hold on, I'm blind, dude. I looked at the light. That's not good.
Nope.
I'll be like, here's the, hold on, okay.